Hi, Jay Jr. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing good.
So I'm looking at some unique things behind you. And, well, first off, I know who you are, but could you tell our readers who you are?
I am Jay Jr. I am the oldest of four. We're a family company here. We started off in Oklahoma City with our parent company, Skulls Unlimited. We opened our first museum in 2010 right there in Oklahoma City, and we are expanding into the Orlando area with this museum here.
Fantastic. And this is Skulls Museum at iDrive 360.
Yes, ma'am.
Fantastic. I understand it's pretty big over in Oklahoma.
Yes, yeah. The museum kind of started off as more of a hobby for the family and just something to kind of put the collection and be able to expose it and show the public. And it took off in a way that we were barely prepared for, and it really started to give us a lot of ideas that we needed. This collection is very valuable to people, and they want to come out and see what we have.
That's great. As far as the family history, I know it's a family affair. Is it all hands on deck when you guys do an opening?
Yes. Well, this is our second museum, so there's a learning curve to it all. But yeah, we're all here. We got my brothers and my cousin are here. We've been working 12 to 14-hour days putting the museum together.
Wow.
So it's my dad's here, and the rest of the family's flying in a couple days to help put the finishing touches on everything.
Oh my gosh, this is a feat. Behind you is a feat all in itself, but opening an entire exhibit, I suppose that takes a little bit from shipping to actually putting it together.
Absolutely. Our first museum we put together almost at our leisure over the course of about 7 years. And this museum, we really had a deadline that we had to hit. We put together about 400 skeletons in 13, almost 14 months.
Wow.
So we brought on more staff for that. We trained. As you can probably imagine by looking at some of these skeletons don't go together very quickly. Not only are these skeletons brought to us as a carcass that we have to clean and whiten to even begin the articulation. So just that process there can take several months. The articulation process can take anywhere from 12 hours to 240 hours, depending on the specimen, just in drilling and wiring and the articulation process.
Oh my gosh. And then they range in size, I see, from super tiny to just the size of your building.
Absolutely. In one of the exhibits here, we have a hummingbird. So you can imagine how small that is, all the way up to this 10-foot alligator, which is in the Florida diorama, to a 11-foot bull elephant, weighing probably somewhere around 1,500 pounds.
Oh, and I saw that as I came in. That's absolutely massive.
Yeah, it was very challenging putting that one together. I could say, as far as terrestrial animals, that is by far the largest one that we, as a company or museum, have ever put together.
Oh my gosh. And in terms of storage here in the facility, is there a certain temperature that the facility itself needs to be set at? Is there a certain way that they need to be displayed?
Well, a lot of folks are surprised to find out that bone is actually pretty durable once it's been cured and dried out. Some of the most care has to be taken during the processing, which is when you're using the chemicals on it and the drying process. But once it comes into an articulated animal, just normal care when handling them will usually work. But temperature and humidity and all that doesn't really play a huge role in the bone quality or the risk of them damaging.
Oh, well, that's good, especially in environments like Oklahoma or Central Florida. We get pretty humid here.
Yeah. In Oklahoma, we're not the driest state, but it gets pretty dry there. So transitioning from Oklahoma to Florida is definitely plays its toll. But luckily, we haven't seen any signs of damage or wear or tear on the skeletons.
That's good. So you found an excellent home in us.
Yes, absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about the exhibit behind you.
Well, this is our Florida diorama. We're still adding to it. All these exhibits are going to be a work in process, in progress, so to speak. As you can imagine, you don't just call up someone and receive a dead animal. You know, these things take a long time to get to. So as animals become available to us, we will be putting them in here. But we have an alligator, we have a cottonmouth, armadillo, black bear. Just a lot of the things that Florida natives will be very familiar with, as well as people that are trying to do the area too. A lot of out-of-towners or foreigners and stuff, they can definitely appreciate some of the wildlife that Florida has, because we all know it's seen in movies and magazines and books all over. So that's really one thing that we wanted to drive home. We did our best to put these animals in positions and an environment that would replicate what they're experiencing here.
And I noticed you have our Spanish moss
Yes.
properly displayed.
Yes.
Well done.
Yes, that is another iconic thing of the Florida swamps. So we absolutely had to have that here.
So just I'm curious to know a little bit about the articulation. This guy in particular, it's so tiny.
Yeah, we have a few birds in here. We also have a screech owl right up there in the very top. Those are a tricky process to articulate. Not only are they very fragile and very light boned, but they're also a big transition from any kind of mammals, which is primarily what we work with. So the ribs and chest plates and all that kind of stuff is a brand new learning curve and things when you're trying to train a new articulator. Bird skeletons surprisingly can go two ways, very easily and very quick, or very difficult. It all depends on how they were prepped and how they were processed. So it's really hard to say a screech owl like that could take, if you're lucky, 6 hours. If you're not lucky, 28 to 40 hours to put together.
Oof. And that's just one animal.
That's just one animal. A lot of our larger animals, and for the most part all of our mammals that come in, when they reach an articulator's desk, they come in as just a bag of bones. And it is up to the articulator to sort and inventory every bone and line it up where it belongs. So from that point, once that's done and the skeleton looks like it's ready to be articulated, the technician will talk with our educator and our design team to find out what kind of pose and what kind of action this animal needs. And there'll be a lot of research done as far as its environment, its locomotion, how it moves itself. And so there's a lot of care goes. Each technician probably has anywhere between 8 to 12 pictures of that species pinned up on their desk to reference as the articulation process goes.
So there is no instruction manual.
There's no instruction manual. We're very fortunate as a company. The company's been around for 28 years, and a lot of that staff has been with us for over 20 years. So there's a lot of experience there, and we're able to lean on each other for their experiences and their expertise when a question does arise. So we're very fortunate in that aspect.
Wow, and that all goes back to Skulls Unlimited.
Yes. Skulls Unlimited was founded in 1986 by my father, almost out of necessity. He was laid off of his job and was always an avid skull collector. And in order to pay the bills, about the time I was coming along, he had to start selling some of his collection to his friends and just people. And he said, "Well, wow, this is kind of lucrative." So we kind of picked up from there, and before we knew it, it turned into a full-fledged catalog business, and a lot of luck and a lot of hard work got us where we are now.
And it's such a unique opportunity for people to see the inner workings of a given animal that they would never get to see otherwise.
Right. In this museum, you'll learn a little bit about the skeletal structure, how everything is put together, and a lot of people will be surprised to find out that just like you have a femur bone, so does a raccoon, and so does a turtle, an alligator, and birds. So we can start to see the comparative anatomy. We also have an exhibit on that too. So a lot of people will find that very interesting.
I find it particularly fascinating. I'm still amazed that little guy up there you can put together with such flawlessness and put him in flight. That's just amazing to me.
Well, a lot goes into it.
Oh, a lot of work, a lot of definite heart. And we're honored to have you here at iDrive 360. So thank you so much for bringing it to us.
Absolutely. We're glad we're here, and we look forward to being here for a long time.
Yeah, we're looking forward to seeing you. It's particularly, you got to check out this Florida exhibit because brown bears are in the news. We've got a little guy down here invading the milk duds.
Raccoon.
It's a raccoon, correct? The gator. There's your brown bear. It's pretty amazing, guys. You've got to come check this out. Well, thank you very much for taking the time. I know you're busy constructing things.
Absolutely. We have a lot of work ahead of us.
Well, we'll see you very soon.
Perfect. Thank you very much.